We are joined in the studio this afternoon with our political analyst to discuss the hottest races, storylines from this election cycle. With us today, Steve Hauserman, a Republican strategist, and Reed Brewer, a Democratic strategist. Thank you both for being here. We could talk to you all day. There are a lot of issues tonight and a lot of things I think people are excited to see, and surprises. Any surprises you guys expect to see tonight as those numbers roll in?
I think you're going to see a lot of state house races that, we don't get a lot of attention to, which is typical in a state house race. I think you're going to see a lot of those, especially in the northwest Arkansas. That's a changing area. You're going to see some Democrat pickups there.
I think we have, for the Republican side, we have a big opportunity to capture that local, those local races and hold that de facto majority with the legislature, the state constitutional offices, and the local level. So with that, and to kind of counteract Reed here, I do think that we are going to capture a couple of the House seats as well. Early voting has shown with our modeling that Republican turnout is tremendous.
So we will continue to watch that balance of power. One thing that a lot of attention has been on is the 2nd Congressional District race. This is one where the incumbent, French Hill, is taking on Clark Tucker. I mean, in this race, what do you expect? I mean, we've had actresses here, we've had prominent politicians here. This has been one that there's been a lot of attention on.
I mean, it's been nice having the Vice President come down and work for Congressman Hill. Was it necessary? I think a lot of Arkansan voters are looking at, well, 21,000 Arkansans left, poverty according to the BLS in the past couple of years. We've had 70,000 jobs added to the economy. Wage growth is up 5.1%. And that's the 6th fastest growth in the country, believe it or not. And they see all the success in the economy, and Arkansans are really liking that. And I think they recognize that and attribute that to the Republican leadership we've had in the state.
I just disagree. I know you might be surprised by that, but I think that French Hill has run a campaign based on an underperforming record. He has voted 5 times to repeal the Affordable Care Act without a replacement, so there is no coverage for pre-existing conditions, unlike you might see at the news of this, the break in this commercial news. So I think there's a lot of things like that. I think that's going to be decided early about whether or not we need to keep watching. I think if you look at Faulkner County, the returns, how do those come in? Are those close? Is Clark leading there? Is Clark leading in Pulaski County? He's done a lot of the work there. Let's see if it pays off.
I want to talk about the Little Rock mayoral race. We touched on this earlier, but this is one where we don't know at this point. Anything could happen. We could see surprises in this. We do expect a runoff, possibly. What are your predictions in the Little Rock mayoral race? I
think that you'll see there's 3 top candidates: Frank Scott, Baker Curtis, Warwick Saban. I wouldn't be surprised if anyone went outright or any of those top 2
So
go to
you think
runoff.
One of them could actually get that 40% threshold?
I think that's totally possible. I think that Saban's been on TV early, Baker's come on strong through mail, and then Frank Scott has been doing a lot of the legwork in these communities. He's on TV. I think they're all looking good, and if I'm like most residents of Little Rock, I would like to see any kind of combination of all 3. But I think one of them is likely going to pull above that 40 if I had to put them on it right now.
Steve, do you expect a runoff?
I do. I fully anticipate a runoff, and simply because all 3 of those candidates have worked Little Rock hard, and I think they each occupy a very sizable niche in the community, and because of that, it's going to come down to voter turnout ultimately.
Very interesting. So much to talk about the issues. A big issue tonight is the casino issue. We talked on it earlier for a second. A lot of people don't know what will happen. You both expect the casino issue to pass, the casino measure to pass.
Yeah, I think so. And in Polk County, it's really interesting because in that amendment makes individual communities also vote on whether or not they actually want a casino. And in Polk County, that's on the issue right now. So if both passes, then they'll have casinos as early as next year, and we'll see if that turns out.
Yeah, I think Reed and I both can agree, hopefully, that the casinos thing, it probably will pass. He's right. But what is the impact of that on the communities? I think that may have some damaging effects on housing market, families with gambling addiction, things like that. So for me, it would be sad to see it pass, but it most likely will.
You thinking razor thin on this? 51-49, maybe even less than that?
It might increase. I think we're going to have to see in those counties like Pope and Jefferson where proposed casinos would go. what does it do to turnout right there?
Yeah.
I think that those counties are going to push it over the top or keep it below the 50%.
It's going to be interesting to see if whether or not that tax incentive that's going to be coming from those outweighs the negative consequences of actually having a casino there.
Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Big day ahead. Very big day. We
Yes.
appreciate both of your comments on this race.